Hi everyone, this is Group 1 from ADM 1301C. Our team project is talking about rolling rubber tire cooperation. Our group members are Alicia Yuan, Che Xu, Yizhou Jiang, You Chengxun, Yuhan Wang. There are 6 parts we'll cover in this presentation. The background theory. The first question about the key stakeholders. The second question, our views of Roberto's comments on Romanian and AD. The third question, arguments for and against government regulation. The fourth question, the best approach to lobby the federal government, and the references.
Hi, my name is Alicia, and I'm going to introduce the background theory part. The definition of a stakeholder refers to an individual, group, or organization in a project that will be affected by the results of the project. People who can be major stakeholders include project leaders, senior managers, project team members, and so on. The goal of all stakeholders is to ensure and protect their own interests from infringement. The setup of the issue in the case Rolling Rubber Tire Company is the member of Congress called on the government to enact legislation to raise exceeding minimum performance standards for Canadian tires. And manufacturers need to provide the government with qualified test results for tires to be sold. The cost of the test needs to be borne by the company. The jurisdiction of the government is much wider than enterprises. Business interests refers to the participation of individuals or their family members in any industry or profession, and their possible direct interest to any company that provides goods or service in the market. Government interest is a legal concept, which means that the government can regulate and manage specific affairs.
The key shareholder is the government administration in this model. In the article, it says that the new bill raises the minimum performance standards for tires installed on all Canadian vehicles. And by the new standard, a manufacturer's warranty requires the manufacturer to completely replace the tire that is found to be defective for any reason, regardless of the number of kilometers of a tire. Companies operate in accordance with the law, but it is the government that actually operates the law. The government plays an important role for us to obtain goods and services that do not affect our health, and for companies to work with peace of mind. However, if the government is too involved in economic activity, the power of companies to create new jobs and value will be lost. Because the government has enforced a new bill, RTC has to follow, in which means that they would get a certain impact on their industry. The government's program or plan has a guiding role in the industry. Whether it is advantageous depends on the orientation. The industry has to operate under the government policy, which is an interdependence relationship between government and industries.
Now I'm going to talk about the second question. The second question is asking our views about Roberto's comments on Romanian and AD, correct or incorrect. After a few discussions with our group members, the conclusion that we give is correct. Based on the content, we know that AD is the company's controller, and he does not have the ability to intervene in the legislation of the Senate and the decision of the company. And Romanian proposed a new bill, which is asking for the tires of all defective cars to be replaced. But it is unrealistic to consult with every stakeholder in the company. We believe that the gap between the company and the government should be clear. And we totally agree with Roberto's view. It is not rare that the government participates a little bit in the company, but it should not take the ultimate decision.
In this case, there is a bill that would call for the federal government to enact legislation that would raise the minimum performance standard on all tires installed on all vehicles in Canada. Besides, this new standard also requires a 47 kilometers manufacturer warranty, requiring the complete replacement of any tire found to be defective for any reason at the manufacturer's expense. There are different opinions about this new regulation, which is likely to come. Some businessmen disagree. They reckon that this regulation was unreasonable and had seriously harmed their interests. As Gabby stated, although the government said they have done considerable work on the legislation, he and his corporation never been asked. However, Martin, a retired federal assistant deputy minister, spotted and pointed out that companies must be proactive in political activities instead of waiting for an ask. At the same time, according to him, a bill is a bill and any bill can result in legislation. What is regional is actual and what is actual is regional. Everyone should take seriously the regulations established by the federal government. He also expressed that government works for all people instead of every stakeholders. It is completely unrealistic to expect that the government can consult every stakeholder.
For the question number 4, suppose RRTC decided to lobby the federal government on this matter, and in your view, what would be the best approach? Lobbying is the method to influence the federal government to pass or reject a bill. And passing a new bill is a very long journey, and it requires the first reading, the second reading, and third reading in House and Senate. So RRTC has enough time to lobby the federal government. And I think the best approach for RRTC is to find a local MP who has the relevant lobbying experience. And the next step is to prepare a literature about their concerns and issues. And also, in this case, ERO can conduct environmental analysis to make the literature stronger. Finally, RTC can schedule a meeting with the local MP and make a timeline-based strategy on how they can work together to achieve their goal. Therefore, I think this is the best approach to lobby the federal government.